Hey gang, it's Todd Duncan. I wanted to send you a video blog this week and talk to you a little bit about some interesting research, and really not so interesting, but confirming more than anything about a Facebook post that I put up yesterday. The idea behind my post was to just get feedback for an article that I have now completed for Success Magazine, which will be published in January, and the article had to do with what's called the velocity of trust. And the velocity of trust has to do with how fast you move somebody from a high-tension environment to a high-trust environment. Whenever you are at a point where you need to initiate a sales conversation with anybody, it's important that you understand there's two things going on that will affect that conversation. One is the level of tension, not so much distrust, although it might be classified as such, but the level of tension somebody has about meeting with you and interacting with you, and the level of trust they have prior to meeting with you, and the level of trust they feel beginning immediately when they meet with you. So anyway, I posted this question: what's the one thing you do to move a client as fast as you can to high trust? And I got, I don't know, 37 responses in a couple of hours, and it was pretty confirming stuff, and really essentially gets down to understanding that the basics of sales professionalism really do matter, particularly in a low trust world. So let's talk clearly about high tension, low trust. If we're trying to engage a client in a scenario where tension is high and trust is low, typically they resist and they offer objections, okay? And if you ask for the business, or if you attempt to get an order or confirm a next step, you're likely not to get it, because when tension's high and trust is low, people are not going to accept your sales offerings. When you move trust from the bottom up and you move tension from the top down, and you do that really quickly, then you have an accepting environment, and people are then receptive to what your sales offerings are and your presentation is. So when I looked at all 37 of these responses, there was commonalities in 4 areas. One was high trust happens and low tension happens when you have a direct referral into a prospect that you're trying to have a sales conversation with. So always work around the idea of who I know that might know somebody I need to know, and really build your business by referral. The second thing that resonated with me was the idea that if you don't know how you really need to serve your clients, it's impossible to serve them. And so there was a commonality around connecting, around deep questions, around taking the spotlight off yourself and really putting it on the client. And when you think you have enough information, go even a little bit deeper if you can. And the deeper the better, it seemed to be, was the response coming from the Facebook research. The third had to do with this idea of not being needy and moving from a kind of a price world to an advice world, and really getting to a point where you have an abundant mindset, saying something like, you know, there's a lot of companies that can provide much of what I'm proposing that we provide here today, and what's really important is that you feel very comfortable with the company or the salesperson you choose. And if it's not me, then I have several recommendations that you might find helpful. And what that simply does is it really alleviates the tension on behalf of the potential buyer or prospect, to realize that you're not needy. I wrote a new Toddism yesterday: a needy salesperson is generally not needed. And so there's this sense of not needing to have the transaction, or not needing to hear yes, that puts you in the driver's seat and actually endears people to you a little bit more frequently and a little bit more genuinely. And then the fourth thing had to do with significant follow-up. And the idea behind that was that even the best prospects you may not get the first time, but if you follow up the right way, you can keep them for a lifetime and get the second order and the third order and so on and so forth. And so, you know, and most, by the way, surveyed around the art of follow-up say that they could do a better job in that discipline. So there you have it, 4 simple things that will accelerate the speed with which you get trust with prospects. And try these out and see if they make sense for you. Who do you know that knows who you need to know? Go deep and ask super meaningful questions. Make sure you move from price to advice and not be needy. And then make sure you're great at following up. Okay, take care. Have a great day. Talk soon.